Where do I even start with this? You did it. You've achieved maximum ineptitude. Do the thing.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
Hi, everyone. Come on. Okay, so, yeah, this movie just... Yeah, this movie... Where do I even begin? Okay, so I'll tell you what the movie is, I guess. The Firing Squad is... Hold on. Firing Squad is the latest Christian film that isn't from the Good Studios. It's directed by Tim Chi or Che. I do not know which one. And it's produced by the film studio of the Epoch Times, which is a far-right newspaper. Fantastic. So, it's not quite as offensive as you think it would be, though, considering it's just... well, I'll explain. So, The Firing Squad, yeah, directed by Tim Chi or Che, whichever one. What is the film about? Well, a guy... There's a dude who's a drug runner, and he's caught smuggling drugs into Indonesia and is sent to prison, and he's going to be executed by firing squad, and inexplicably he finds Jesus, and then Cuba Gooding Jr., who's too good for this, shows up, and Kevin Sorbo, who is this movie's too good for, shows up and is a pastor, and then Eric Roberts shows up and is probably wishing he was back on the set of A Talking Cat. And he finds Jesus, and it takes way too long, and eventually he is indeed executed, and spoiler alert, by the way. And some people cried, and some people, even I shared the theater with who are Christian, thought this movie was bad. Yeah, this comment section is going to be fun. Fuck the plot. Look, guys, I know I sound like a broken record. I know this. I know that I talk about, movies being inept, movies being unfit for movie theaters. Guys, this is it. We have found it. This is the most ineptly made, written, directed, acted, shot, lit, probably even catered movie that has ever received a wide theatrical release. This is it. It's The Firing Squad. And you know what? I would see it again right now. It is so bad that you have to see it. It's one of those movies that you have to see it to believe it. I'm not kidding when I said this movie is like if... Okay, let me explain this. It's like if Tommy Wiseau, Neil Breen, and Derek Savage teamed up to direct a God's Not Dead sequel. And it's all the wonderful and horrifying things you can imagine from the combination of those four things. This movie needs to be studied. It's so... Every decision is the wrong one. It's like nobody who made this movie knows anything about making movies. Every decision is the wrong one. It looks like it's shot on a potato. The camera both shakes and is fuzzy, so that everything is... in a lot of sequences, so it actually makes you, physically nauseous. The green screening is so bad. There's a female character in this. Go check out my buddy Shane Conta of the Wasteland Reviewers video. He nailed it. We even discussed it on Letterboxd. We're both in agreement that, this movie is... To describe this movie to another sane individual, you look like you made this up. But it's real. I'm telling you. I actually looked up the movie this morning to remind myself that I saw it last night. This movie, man. You've reached Nirvana. Like the bad movie Nirvana. Congratulations. All hail to you, your lameness. Holy shit. So, where do I begin? first and foremost, the green screening is so bad. There's this this female character who becomes like a love interest for the main guy as the movie goes on. And she is always, when they're in the chapel, like the jail chapel, she's so obviously, when it's a close-up shot, it's close-up on her face, whatever. It looks normal, I guess, although it's still kind of shoddily done. It's a little too close. Let me put it to you that way. But then when it's a wide, it is so clear that she was green screened in. And the reason why is because not only green screened in, but somewhere along the way, the input of the greens of her into her image into the green screen got corrupted somehow, because she is sitting there in the back. Every time they show her, she is frozen. Like, she is digitally, like, frozen in the background, like this, in this same expression. Everybody else is moving. She's like, and it's the exact same shot of her that it keeps repeating in like 4 scenes. It's hilarious. It is so funny. It is so hard not to laugh at this. This is one of those movies that, much like God's Not Dead, and I've heard this in every single one of these, there is a God and I'm him, the evil atheist says. It's one of those movies. Said by my favorite character, who's this guard who's just a sadistic monster, but he's a sadistic monster played by a bad actor. So the whole thing is like, he hates God and he hates love, because he says, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in love either. And I'm even doing it better than, it's more like, I don't believe in God, I believe in love. Get in there, maggot. Although sometimes he'll scream, and you can clearly hear the audio peaking. This is the kind of movie where when people move around, you can hear the lav mics. You can hear like the interference. It is terrible. There's a guy, he says he hates love, he hates God. Okay, cool, whatever. This character is insanely inconsistent. So one scene he'll go from being like abusive, slapping him poorly. Again, he slaps the air and the guy just goes, whoa. It's like that kind of thing. It's not even good stage slapping. But then what'll happen is like he'll go from doing that to being like, I know you're being executed, but God, I don't quite believe in your God, but you seem like a man of faith. And then the next scene when they're being executed is like, go, like, do it, shoot him. And then they lower their guns and like, do it, or I'm putting you against the wall and doing it myself. There's another scene where he goes over and seems to be like, hey, like whatever floats your boat, whatever. And then another scene where the guy is sitting there and he goes, don't even bother trying to kill yourself because I'm going to be enjoying this. It's like that kind of thing where, okay, there's another scene where they commit the execution. Oh, also, earlier in the film, man, there's so much to talk about. Earlier in the film, there's this character, this other young man who doesn't believe in God and is understandably scared of being executed. He's like crying. They have to drag him out of the cell with a couple of dudes, and it's like, like, I don't want to die. It's like, yeah, being shot by a firing squad and executed basically for doing kind of nothing is terrifying, undeniably. And the guy's overacting. Like, the guy's not a good actor, but at the very least, like, I understand where the emotion is coming from. And over, like 7 times, this guy's like, oh, come on, stop crying, take it like a man. It's like, you're gonna execute him. Like, what are you talking about? Later, there's this running thing with this, also, the reason initially our hero doesn't believe in God and the villain doesn't believe in God is because a loved one died of cancer. Of course! Because that's the excuse in every one of these movies. Atheists don't believe sometimes without tragic backstories, right? But, whatever. These are just so, they use these scenes so much. Also, this guard guy, if you're doing a drinking game, take a shot every time this guy says, well, good luck to you. He says it 15 times, and I'm almost certain it's the first take repeated over again. Like, they use the same first take, because it's usually ADR with his back turned, and it looks very obvious that it is. This is a movie where he goes from, I'm going to say this. We're going to get to the ending of this movie, and then we're going to call it a day, because we're going to be here all day otherwise. But first I have to mention this. There's one moment where they try to escape, and they don't even try to disguise themselves. So of course they get caught, whatever. At the end of the movie, there's 2 sequences where they sing Amazing Grace poorly, although give it to Cuba Gooding Jr., he's really trying. He's too good of an actor for this movie. Come on, Cuba. You're better than this. And you were in Daddy Day Camp and Boat Trip, and I think you would even rather be in that. They are on, also there's moments where they show the backstory where it's in Las Vegas, and it looks like footage you would see like on a Marriott Hotel channel about the Marriott Hotel in Las Vegas. Like it's that level of quality. So sorry, there's a lot to talk about. So this love interest character. Oh, also, every time they're in a chapel, they keep playing the same song, which is like something like, "As long as I have Jesus," and it sounds AI generated, like it sounds like the New Norm theme music. It keeps, the funniest things, he goes, "I want to touch your nailed hand." It's just like, oh my God, what is this movie? And it keeps playing it, like, and I'm saying, like, without any variation, it just keeps putting it in there. So this is all important, I promise. So this girl, this love interest, this young woman, who's there to spread the word of Jesus, right? So she's there, and throughout the whole thing, she eventually marries the guy like the night before he's executed. Okay, cool. The end of so the whole movie, he's like, if you need to cry, it's okay. Also, they repeat the same kind of scene. Like, it's one of those movies where they kind of run out of different scenes halfway through, so they just keep repeating themselves. So it becomes kind of nightmarish. So because you don't know when this is going to end. It also didn't help for the fact that, yeah, we have no trailer trash this time because it took 28 minutes for the movie to start, and after the movie ended, it started up again because it took so long to get going that the next showing started. So we were walking out as the movie was beginning again for the next people. Like, it was that kind of situation. So anyway, this girl's like, you can cry if you want to, and she's like, "I don't cry. My dad told me not to cry." Cool, nice backstory. They do it over and over and over again. 5 more times it seems like, "I don't cry. I just don't." And he goes, "You want to know why I don't cry?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever. We're here anyway." She said, "When I was a little girl," and look, this is tragic. I'm not going to, but the way it's portrayed as hilarious because it's not well acted at all. It's like, "When I was a little girl, my father committed suicide. At his funeral, my mom said, 'Don't you cry,' and I never did again." She doesn't cry. Keeps not crying. At the end of the movie, at this point, all 3 of the Kevin Sorbo's dead, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s dead, other fella's dead, and the main guy's dead. All of our main characters who are prisoners, gone. But there is this guy who is this Latinx gentleman who has taken over being the pastor at the chapel. And they're saying goodbye to the lady who's now moving on, leaving. As we're all gonna miss you. She's up at the pulpit with him. This is how the movie ends. So it goes up to the pulpit with. Oh, sorry. One more minute detail. The scene after the execution, he runs in and just starts. Okay, and it's the most acting he does, but it's the peaking is so bad, and it's the acoustics of like the jail, so that, or whatever they shot this in to look like a jail. So at the end of the movie, he's like throwing it, and he's just like, "What's that beanie? Why are you wearing that? In your cell. You think God's gonna help you? Cut your hair. In fact, you two in that stuff." And it's just berating and like shoving people. It's ridiculous. So this guy is still a monster, right? There's nothing to show that he has had any kind of change of heart. He's just a monster. At the end of this movie, this young woman is standing there in the pulpit, saying goodbye to everyone. She goes, and I was like, just at this point, this is just fucking rude. Like, people shouldn't go up to you and ask, like, you can cry if you want to. At a certain point, like, it's your choice whether or not you emote or not. People grieve on their own time. Fuck you. Anyway, this young woman, who's a bad actor, like everybody, except Cuba Gooding Jr. At the end of this movie, she's sitting there, or she's standing there rather, and the new pastor guy looks at her and says, "You know, if you need to cry, it's okay." And he goes, "No, it's okay. I don't cry. It's just who I am." And he says, "All right. Well, fair enough then. Well, would anyone like to bring Jesus into their life today?" The door swings open. It's in slow motion. And they start playing the "As Long as I Have Jesus" song. Guess who walks in? But evil guard guy. And he's weeping uncontrollably and is like on his knees crawling on all fours toward this like this. And again, the last time we saw him, he was still a monster, right? And it's all silent. It's just the music and him like walking in. It's like one of those things. It cuts to the woman. She is bawling, like snotting her eyes out, and he's like this. And then it has the epilogue text. Oh, and then after the credits, Kevin Sorbo and jumping the gun. Anyway, this movie is amazing. Everyone should go see it. But in two camps. Christians, there were some Christians in my audience who actually cried. So I do think some Christians genuinely like it. And I will say this. Some of the issues with the treatment of atheism aside, this isn't offensive. It's not neo-Nazi propaganda. It's not nefarious or anything. It's just really bad. But it's bad in a way that's kind of awesome. Like, it's one of those bad movies that, well, this is the one. Like, it needs to be studied. It's so bad, it's genuinely entertaining. Like, devil conspiracy levels of, that kind of thing. We have a new king, ladies and gentlemen. There will not be a worse movie made for wide theatrical distribution than this. There's no lower you can go. I love this movie. It's terrible, but I love this movie. Guys, this is one of those cases where I almost didn't even want to give it a score, because it's like, how do I review this and give it a score? Because I'm tempted to give it a 5, just because I want people to see this because it's so bad, but at the same time, objectively, this would even be like a 0-star movie. I'm going to split the difference and give it a 1. This gets a 1 out of 5 stars because it's so bad it's good. I cannot give it 0 because I was never angry and I was never bored. I was always enjoying this because it was so bad. Oh, and also my ticket was comped. So thank you, Marcus Theaters. And I don't blame you. You didn't even have to do that. Like, people give a lot of shit to movie theater employees. They're doing the best they can. Leave them alone. But, like, that was cool of them to comp our tickets. That was, they didn't have to do that. That was rad. So, yeah. Firing Squad, 1 out of 5 stars. But it's a 1-star that's really more like an objective, like a entertainment value 5. Like, go see this movie. So, yeah, 1 star for the Firing Squad. It's amazing. And not in any of the ways it intended to be, but there you go. Trailer trash, none, because they forgot to put the trailers on there because the thing wasn't working. Was the shawarma? Yes. After the credits, Kevin Sorbo informs us, preaches to us, and informs us that this was a true story. I'd sooner believe the Lego movie was a true story than I'd believe that this was. All right. Anyway. Like, I'm sure this guy actually went to an Indonesian prison and was killed by Firing Squad. That I believe. Everything else that happens in this movie, there's no way. There's no way in hell this happened. Alright. That being said, the Firing Squad, that's it. We're done. We will be back. I'm going to get off here and finish. I had such long gaps yesterday. I also saw Ponyo yesterday, which to me is like Hayao Miyazaki predicting Big Daddy, I Love Him before it was a song. I'm not going to review it just because that was more of a time filler, but it's a great movie. Go check out Ponyo. But I got started on Batman Caped Crusader, and I really want to finish it because it's really fucking good. So, yeah, that's it. Let's go watch Batman Caped Crusader. We're done for the day. But, yeah, that's it. We will be back next week for some movies, and That'll all be next time. And until next time, I'm Grant, the movie and TV guy. I see it all, and I'm happy to share it with you. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Love you all, class dismissed. I love you 3000. Be kind to one another. If you like this video, give it a like if you want to. Give it a subscribe if you want to. Give it the bell. I don't know what it does. That's what you're supposed to do, or so I've been told. Leave a comment, even if it's, "Hey Grant, I like waffles." It really helps out. If you want to find me elsewhere, reviews, lists, and other fun stuff, you can find me on all my social media. I'm on literally everything at either Raise It on Popcorn with Grant or Raise It on Popcorn. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. It's incredibly important. And I want to know down below, what did you think of The Firing Squad? Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? Think my opinion's good? Think I'm full of shit? Comment below. Let me know. And until we meet again, we were all raised on popcorn. Make mine with extra butter. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care, everyone. See you around. Bye.